Welcome to another episode of History Gone Weird TV, America's 250th War Edition. Today we are going to explore how the Continental Army, which is basically, backed into a corner in Boston, somehow managed to survive using sleep deprivation, oxen, and just extreme stubbornness.
Yeah, it is a completely bizarre situation when you look at the human element here.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking about a militia that, well, didn't even fully function as an army yet.
Right.
And they're up against the world's most formidable military machine, complete with, global supply chains and professional engineers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to fight that empire, especially when you have a severe shortage of heavy artillery, civilization somehow decided the best move was to trust a local bookseller.
Right, yeah. HGW TV archives reveal that this guy, Henry Knox, was literally just a 25-year-old bookstore owner.
Which is just wild.
Totally. He educated himself by, just reading military history books in his own shop.
Mm-hmm.
And he proposes this absolutely absurd plan.
Wait, to drag 59 cannons and mortars, which is 60 tons of iron, right? 300 miles from Fort Ticonderoga all the way to Boston. I mean, that is like letting someone build a nuclear submarine just because they run a sci-fi bookshop. Like, how does sheer desperation make leaders greenlight this level of operational madness? It makes zero sense.
Well, it really comes down to human behavioral psychology, honestly.
Yeah.
George Washington looked at Knox and basically recognized his unreasonable confidence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it really highlights how human overconfidence can, occasionally bypass total lack of professional infrastructure. Washington needed exactly that kind of irrational optimism.
Well, come on, but wait, hold on. You were calling it irrational optimism and overconfidence, but wasn't Washington just, completely out of options? Like, is it really a profound behavioral insight, or are they just throwing a Hail Mary pass because they're losing?
No, that is a really fair pushback. It was definitely a Hail Mary. But it is also this realization that conventional warfare rules just didn't apply to a scrappy militia that had, nothing left to lose. Asymmetry forces innovation.
Because history gets stranger here, right? Having a crazy plan is one thing, but actually executing it means asking nature for a massive favor.
Right, because now Knox actually has to defy the laws of physics. They had to take this 300-mile route across the Berkshire Mountains in the dead of winter.
Which is insane. Physics should have vetoed this immediately. 60 tons of iron sliding on ice. That is just a colonial sled ride with massive, massive consequences.
Yeah, but instead of the winter stopping the mission, they turned the environment into transportation infrastructure. They built these specialized heavy-duty sledges.
Oh.
So the frozen rivers actually acted as their highways, and the snow allowed for, sledding. They used relays of oxen to control the descent so the cannons wouldn't just slide down and crush the animals.
But if you have ever tried to drive a car up a snowy hill, you know the absolute panic of losing traction.
And that is the documentary reality of the human element here. You had ordinary civilians and farmers risking execution to provide the oxen, the rope, and the labor.
Just everyday people.
Exactly. They were turning environmental hardship into a weapon through just relentless forward motion, It was collective irrational belief.
Which is fascinating. And all that freezing, stubborn dragging culminated in a morning of absolute administrative horror for the British military.
Oh, absolutely. By March 1776, those cannons finally reached Dorchester Heights. Under the cover of darkness, they were hauled into position directly above Boston.
I just love trying to understand this from the British perspective. Imagine calmly drinking your morning tea, checking the horizon and realizing the colonists installed historically aggressive snowmen with cannons overnight.
The sheer panic must have been unreal.
Oh, totally. They had to instantly reassess their relationship with the entire city. I mean, General Howe was literally forced to just pack up and evacuate.
It perfectly illustrates a broader historical pattern. A ragtag group intimidated the world's greatest empire simply because they looked at mud, mountains, and gravity and just decided they were temporary inconveniences.
It is the ultimate, this shouldn't have worked, but somehow it did. So here's a provocative thought for you as you go about your day. We live in a world where we relied heavily on perfect infrastructure, right? Like GPS, next day shipping, complex algorithms.
Yeah, we expect everything to be easy.
Exactly. Think about how that modern reliance might actually blind us to the kind of raw, scrappy innovation Knox used. Are we losing our ability to just build a sled and figure it out? How many impossible obstacles in your own world could be overcome if you simply viewed bad conditions, like a freezing winter, as a tool instead of a trap?
That is a great question. For reasons nobody fully understands, sometimes having too many tools prevents you from seeing the obvious, messy solution right in front of you.
Well, thanks for joining us. This has been America's 250th War Edition on HGW TV. And remember, stay weird, my history lovers.